So chapter 4 is about rotation. So maybe nung bata kayo siguro nakakasakay kayo ng eto sa paborito nyo yan. Ba't ako hindi, nahihilo ako. Okay. So when we say rotation, that is a motion of a rigid body in which the particle move in a circular path with their centers on a fixed straight line that is called the axis of rotation. So for the kinematics of rotation, so that is the relation between linear and angular displacement. So remember, we started our discussion with rectilinear translation. So there's a relation between rectilinear translation and rotation. So for the linear distance traveled by the bodies in rotation, that is equal to the product of the radius of the rotation and the angular displacement. This angular displacement must be in radians. So just like here. Okay. This is the circular or the circumference of the path. Okay. But this is the equivalent linear distance. Okay, for the velocity, the linear velocity is equal to the radius times the angular velocity. Okay, radians per second square. And for the acceleration, the relationship between tangential and normal acceleration is for tangential, that is the radius of rotation times the angular acceleration. Alpha is angular acceleration. For the normal acceleration, that is equal to v squared over r, or that since v is rw, if we substitute here, that is equal to rw square, the square of the angular displacement. So these are the symbols used. Theta is angular displacement. So when it rotates, so this is the angular displacement. W is angular velocity, radians per unit time. Alpha is angular acceleration. R is the radius of rotation. So the equivalent linear. So linear displacement is S. V is the linear velocity. And A is the linear acceleration. Since that is in rotation, tangential and normal component. So we have discussed this already in the previous chapter, curvilinear translation. So let's go to the equation, rotation with constant acceleration. So this would be the rectilinear motion equation. If you remember, we have discussed this in chapter 2. And these are the equations for rotation. So the relationship between the two, linear and rotation, these are the equations. Remember, we have the final velocity is equal to the initial velocity plus acceleration times time. The equation is somewhat similar, only that we change the symbol. This would be the final angular velocity is equal to the initial angular velocity plus alpha, that is the angular acceleration times time. So we just change the symbol and the format of the equation would be the same. For angular displacement is initial angular velocity times time plus 1/2 alpha t square. Alpha is angular acceleration. And the equivalent equation for the equation 3 is the square of final angular velocity is equal to the square of initial angular velocity plus 2 alpha theta. Okay. So you can easily remember the equation. And remember also this relationship between linear, rectilinear translation and rotation. So let's consider the application for the equation. So a flywheel 6 feet in diameter accelerates from rest at a constant rate of 4 revolutions per minute per second. Okay. This is an acceleration, but it's RPM per second. Compute the normal and tangential components of the acceleration of the particle on the rim of the flywheel after 10 seconds. So remember, in the previous chapter, we have the equation for how to compute the tangential components of the acceleration. Okay, so given in the problem is the diameter, which is 6 feet. Alpha is 4 revolutions per minute per second. Initial angular velocity is 0 since it starts from rest. And the time is 10 seconds. So the required is the normal and the tangential acceleration. So we have to convert first alpha. The unit must be consistent. So 4 revolutions per minute per second. So 2 pi radians per 1 revolution, we multiply. So we can cancel revolution times 1 minute per 60 seconds. Okay, solving for this, alpha is 2 pi over 15 radians per second square, or 0.42 radians per second square. So for the tangential acceleration, that is simply r times alpha. So we just multiply. So that is equivalent to 2 over 5 pi. Or that is 1.25 feet per second square. So after 10 seconds, okay, so we need the normal and tangential component. So the final velocity, final angular velocity is initial angular velocity plus alpha times time. So we substitute. Initial is 0, alpha is 2 pi over 15, so times 10 seconds. So the final velocity is 4 over 3 pi radians per second square. So the final, or that is equivalent to 4.19 radians per second. So the normal components of the acceleration is equal to RW square. So that is equal to 3 times 4 over 3 pi square. So this is the equivalent. Okay. This final angular velocity. Okay, so then the normal acceleration is equal to 52.62. That would be already in feet per second square, since the radius is in feet. Okay. So for the next problem, the rim of a 50 inches wheel on a brake shoe testing machine has a speed of 60 miles per hour. When the brake is dropped, it comes to rest after the rim has traveled a linear distance of 600 feet. What are the constant angular acceleration and the number of revolutions the wheel makes in coming to rest? So given is the diameter, that is 50 inches. Initial velocity, 50 miles per hour. The linear distance is 600 feet. And the velocity, final velocity is 0 because the wheel will comes to rest. So we have to convert first the initial velocity, 50 miles per hour, feet per second. And that is equals to 73.33 feet per second. So the diameter is 50 inches, so we convert to feet, that is 25 over 6 feet. Okay. For the radius, so that would be 25 over 25 over 12, or d over 2, that is 25 over 6 divided by 2, so 25 over 12. Okay, for the relationship between the linear and the angular velocity, so you know that linear velocity is RW, so you can solve for the initial angular velocity. That would be velocity divided by the radius. So that would be equal to 176 over 5, or 35.2 radians per second. So given the linear distance, so we can convert for the angular distance, that is S over R. 600 feet divided by the radius, so the total would be 288 radians. So from the equations, what is required? What are the constant angular acceleration and the number of revolutions? So let us solve first what is the angular acceleration. So from this equation, you know the final angular velocity 0. The initial angular velocity is 35.2. So we substitute with this equation. You know already theta. So we can solve for alpha. Alpha is negative 2.15 radians per second square. So it's negative because the wheel is coming to rest. So n is the relationship between theta. N is the angular distance 288 radians times 1 revolutions per 2 pi radians. So from that, you can determine the number of revolutions. So that is 45.84 revolutions. Okay. After that number of revolutions, then the wheel will comes to rest. Okay, so next, determine the horizontal and vertical components of the acceleration of point B. Where is point B? This is point B on the wheel. On the rim of the flywheel shown in the figure. At the given position, W is 4 radians per second. And alpha is 12 radians per second square, both clockwise. Okay, so the required is the normal and tangential, horizontal and vertical components of the acceleration. So that is AX and AY. So remember in chapter 3, we have the equation, the relationship between tangential and normal acceleration and the X and Y component of the acceleration. So we will use that equation. So tangential acceleration is R times, it should be alpha. Why the symbol is this? This is for, so mali yung nagamit kong symbol. It should be alpha. Tangential acceleration is R times alpha. So that is 3 times this one. This should be the symbol. 3 times 12, so 36 feet per second square. The normal acceleration is R omega square. So that is 3 times 4 square, so 48 feet per second square. So remember, we have this equation. Tangential acceleration is AX cosine theta plus AY sine theta. Okay. So we substitute the given equation. Okay. For the equation, this is tangential. Okay, so 36. There should be 2 equations. Did I forget the other equation? 36 equals, this the other one. Okay, 36 is tangential acceleration. AX cosine 45 degrees plus AY sine 45 degrees. And AN is, this is the equation, negative AX sine 45 plus AY cosine 45. So we have 2 equations, the 2 unknowns, solving the equation simultaneously. So we can solve for AX, negative 8.48 feet per second, and AY is 59.40 feet per second. The unit should be per second square. Okay, so take note of that correction. It should be feet per second square. So you write that in your module. Okay, let's go to this, the rotation with variable angular acceleration. So the problem, the rotation of a pulley is defined by the relation. So you are familiar with the equation from rectilinear translation. Theta equals to 2t to the fourth minus 30 t squared plus 4, where theta is the measured in radians and t in seconds. Compute the velocity and angular acceleration at the instant when t equals to 4. So from the given angular displacement equation, so theta is 2t to the fourth minus 30t squared plus 4. If we differentiate d theta over dt with respect to time, that is actually equal to angular velocity. It's like distance velocity. So we differentiate this with respect to time. So we got the angular velocity. That is d theta over dt. So differentiating, that is 8t cubed minus 60t. Given the time when t is 4 seconds, so we substitute, the time is 4 seconds. So the angular velocity is 272 radians per second. And differentiating again this equation, we get the angular acceleration. So that is the derivative of the angular velocity with respect to time. So it would be 24t minus 60. When t equals to 4 seconds, so alpha is 24 times 4 minus 60. And the answer is 36 radians per second square. Okay, so this would be like the similar with what we are doing with chapter 2 for rectilinear motion with variable angular acceleration. Remember, there are 5 cases that we use for a sample problem. So the same procedure, the same technique. Sometimes we have to differentiate, sometimes we have to integrate. Only that the variable are changed because this is about rotation. Okay, a body rotates according to the relation alpha equals to 2t, where alpha is in radians per second, and t is in seconds. Omega is 4 radians per second, and theta equals to 0 when t is 0. So that is the given condition. Compute the value of omega and theta at the instant when time is equal to 2 seconds. So the given equation, alpha is 2t. And you know alpha is differential of omega with respect to time. And that is equals to 2t. We can cross multiply, so differential of omega is equals to 2t dt. So then we can integrate. Okay? The limit will be w equals to 4. So from 4 to w. Or that is actually omega. Okay, equals to integral of 2t dt. The limit is from 0 to t. So there is a condition here when t equals to 0. So integrating, so we have here omega is equals to t squared. Substituting the limit, we have the equation omega is t plus 4. So when t equals to 2 seconds, so the angular velocity is equal to 6 radians per second. What is the other requirements? The omega and theta. So from the equation, the omega is t plus 4. We can differentiate again. Okay, we can integrate again. W is, or omega is d theta over dt. We cross multiply to the other side. Then we integrate both sides. The limit of theta is from 0 to theta. The time is from 0 to t. So integrating, we have here theta is equals to t squared over 2 plus 4t. Substituting the limit, and then the equation is theta equals to 1/2 t squared plus 4t. So when t equals to 2 seconds, we substitute 2. Therefore, the angular displacement is 10 radians. Okay? Remember this in chapter 2, that is the motion curve. Determine the number of revolutions through which a pulley will rotate from rest if its angular acceleration is increased uniformly from 0 to 12 radians per second during the 4 seconds, and then uniformly decreased to 4 radians per second square during the next 3 seconds. So this problem is better solved using the motion curve. So instead of acceleration and time, or A and T, so we use the symbol time for horizontal axis and alpha on the vertical axis. From the given in the problem, the angular acceleration is increased uniformly from 0 to 12 radians per second square so it would be a straight line within the 4 seconds. And then uniformly decreased to 4 radians per second square during the next 3 seconds. Okay, so we can now construct the velocity time curve. So that is simply by using the area. So the same diagram for time and omega, or velocity. Okay, we just solve for the area, 1/2 of 4 times 12. So that would be 12 times 2, so 24 radians per second. Then plus this positive area also. So rectangle, 4 times, how much is the time? 4 times 3 is 12. And then 12 minus 4 is 8, so 1/2 of 8 times 3. What is 8 times 3? 24 plus divided by 2 is 12, plus another 12, so plus 24. So you will add 24 to this value. Okay, so the value here is 48 radians per second. So you just compute the area of this trapezoidal, then add to the area of this one. So that is the acceleration at t equal, or the velocity at t equals to 7 seconds. Okay. Next, again, the area of this. Okay. So we take summation of the area for this one. This is second degree. Okay, what is the area? So 24 second degree, so that is 1/3 of 24 times 4 divided by 3. So that is 32. Okay, so this portion, so that is, you can cut this rectangle and another area which is second degree. So you have to add. Okay, 24 times 3. So, and then 1/3 of 24. So times 3. So plus 24 times 3. Okay. 96. But you have to add that previously the 32. Bakit mali ang aking calculation? Okay. So solve for this area. So when you add, this would be the value here. 152 radians. That is the angular displacement. So using this motion curve, at the end of 7 seconds, theta is 152 radians. Okay. So N is 152 radians times 1 revolutions per 2 pi radians. So simply N is 24.19 revolutions. So kailangan lang i-drawing nyo yung motion curve, and then from that, so you know the total angular displacement. So we just convert this to revolutions. Okay. So the first few problems that we solve is for kinematics of rotation. Now, if we consider the kinetics of rotation, so we have this equation. We add summation of n, that is the forces in the normal direction, that is W over G RW square. What is RW square? That is normal acceleration, or RW is normal acceleration. We just square it. Let's go back to the equation. Okay. What page is that? Okay. What's this one? Normal acceleration is RW square. Okay. So that is the equation. Since we are solving for the forces, normal to the, okay. It's the same equation when we apply Newton's second law of motion and D'Alembert's principle. We just change this one to angular velocity. So summation of forces tangent to the direction of motion, so W over G R times alpha. This is for tangential acceleration. Summation of moment at the axis of rotation, that is this, you need notice the moment of inertia, symbol for moment of inertia times alpha. And this, the equation for this is W over G Kz square. Kz is radius of gyration with respect to the axis of rotation. Remember in statics, maaring hindi nyo naabot sa statics, ano? The last part of the chapter, moment of inertia, is about this mass moment of inertia. So this would be this mass moment of inertia. And you know, K is radius of gyration. Okay. Let's apply this to the problem. The compound pulley in the figure has a horizontal mass. Has a horizontal. Oh, there's something missing in the problem. Motion. Okay. Anyway, support maybe. Mass moment of inertia is 20 pounds, foot-pounds, second square. Find the tension in the cord supporting the 161 pound weight. Okay. So this is the mass moment of inertia, 20 pound, foot-pound, second square. Okay. So the weights are 161 pounds and 322 pounds. Okay. So given the direction of rotation, so it's in clockwise direction. Okay. So for the acceleration of this, so you know this is the radius 3 feet. So acceleration of 161 pounds. So since this is heavier, so we assume it's going down. So this would go up. The acceleration is R alpha, so 3 alpha. So tension T sub 1. For here, the tension, let's say this is T sub 2. So the acceleration is what is the radius? 1. 1 times alpha or simply alpha. Okay. So this is the pre-body diagram. Okay, for the 161 block, summation of forces vertical is W over G times alpha. So T sub 1 minus 161, the weight, is equal to W over G times alpha, which is 3 alpha. So T sub 1 is 161 plus we transfer on the other side. So we have the equation for T sub 1. For the 322-pound block, so this one, summation of forces vertical is W over G times alpha, so the same equation. So 322, that is the weight, downward, minus T sub 2 is equal to, okay, 322, the weight over 32.2 minus, okay, times alpha. So we have equation for T sub 2. Okay. So if we take summation of moment at the axis of rotation, so the equation is Ij alpha. So we take summation of moment at the center. This is the axis of rotation. T sub 2 times 1. This is T sub 1 times 3. This is the point where we take summation of moment. Okay. So T sub 2 times 1 minus T sub 2, T sub 1 times 3 is equal to the given mass moment of inertia is 20 times alpha. We substitute T sub 1 and T sub 2, which are in terms of alpha. T sub 2 is 322 minus 10 alpha, and T sub 1 is 161 plus 15 alpha. Okay, times 3 equals to 20. Simplifying the equation, then we can solve for alpha, that is equal to, okay, negative 2.15 radians per second square. So substituting back the alpha to the equation for T sub 1, the required is the tension in the 161-pound block. So T sub 1 is equal to 128.8 pounds. Okay. So the secret is you have to draw first the pre-body diagram for the body. And then you apply dynamic equilibrium equation. Okay, determine the time required for the compound pulley shown in the figure to reach a speed of 600 revolutions per minute starting from rest. So the given weight is 322 pounds and radius of gyration is 2 feet. Okay. So the weight A is 300 pounds. The weight B is 400 pounds. There is a given coefficient of friction and the slope is 3 vertical, 4 horizontal. So let us draw the pre-body diagram. So what do you think will be the motion of the body? It's either B will slide downward and A will go up, or A will move downward and B will move upward. Okay, you can make assumptions. Okay, which direction you want. And then if the result is negative, so then it should be in the opposite direction. But if you consider this one is heavier, however, there is friction on the surface. So it might be that A will move downward. If A will move downward, acceleration is radius times alpha, so 3 alpha. For this one, the radius is 2, so acceleration is 2 alpha. So we assume A will move downward, the B will move up at the inclined surface. Okay. So the weight is, you know that it's directed downward. It will have its normal and tangential component. So we follow the slope. Okay. So to pour the solution, we start the weight tangential for the block 400 block is 400 times 3 over 5, so 240 pounds. The normal is 400 times 4 over 5, so 320 pounds. Okay. Why there is N here? Normal and tangential. Okay, napos lagay doon. So the force of friction is mu times N. Okay. This N, let's go back. So the normal reaction on the surface is equal to this Wn. Okay? So we can solve for the force of friction. So this Wn is also the normal reaction. So force of friction is mu times N. So that is 0.2 times 320. So 64 pounds. So for the 300 pounds block, so block A, so we apply summation of forces vertical is W over G over tangential acceleration. So tension at A upward minus 300 is equal to, okay, this is W over G times acceleration tangential is 3 alpha. So this would be the equation. For the 400 pound block, so we take summation of forces parallel to the inclined surface. So that is tangent to the surface. So summation of the tangential forces is equals to W over G times the tangential acceleration. T sub B minus the horizontal tangential component of the weight, 240, minus the force of friction is equals to W over G times acceleration, 2 alpha. So we have another equation. Then we have to consider equilibrium of the pulley. So let's go back. So we take summation of moment at the center. So T sub A times 3. This should be T sub B times 2. That is the moment equation. And that is equal to Iz, the mass moment of inertia times alpha. And the equation for mass moment of inertia is W over G K square. So then times alpha. Substituting this equation for T sub A and T sub B. And this, we substitute W over G and K. So simplifying the equation, we can solve for alpha, that is 1.68 radians per second square. So time to reach a speed of 600 revolutions per minute starting from rest. Okay, so initial velocity is zero, angular velocity is 0. 600 revolutions per minute, so we convert to radians per second. So remember, this is constant 2 pi per 1 revolution, 2 pi radians, and 1 minute per 60 seconds. So the answer is 20 pi per radians per second. So substituting with this equation, the final angular velocity is the initial angular velocity plus acceleration times time. So you can solve for time, and that is 37. So I write here dot, dot, dot. So meaning I use all the decimal. So the time is 37.34 seconds. So if you notice, the solution is like similar with the rectilinear translation. The only difference is that we have this equation wherein we consider the mass moment of inertia. Okay, actually in statics, well, the one being discussed most of the time is only how to solve for moment of inertia And for plain figures or regular figures and the composite figure. So, nakakalimutan yung mass moment of inertia or hindi naaabot. But mass moment of inertia is important for the topic rotation. So, as a suggestion, so kung mayroon kayong mga libro ng statics, so basahin nyo yung last portion noon about sa mass moment of inertia. And there are tables for how to determine the mass moment of inertia, the equation. So you just have to memorize the equation and substitute the given data in a problem, then you can solve for mass moment of inertia. Okay? Let's solve another problem. If the weight shown in the figure is descending freely, determine the tension in the cord both before and after a brake force P of 100 is applied. Neglect thickness of the brake. Okay. So this is the brake. Okay. So the coefficient of friction is 0.20. Mass moment of inertia is given 12 foot-pounds second square. And the weight here is 200 pounds. So there is a radius here 2 feet and then this is 3 feet. So the distance also from the hinge support is, and the brake is 1 foot and this is 3 feet. So we have to draw the free body diagram for this. First, for the 200-pound block. So the weight and this is the tension. So this is the free body diagram of the wheel. Okay, and this is the free body diagram for the brake. Okay. This is for the coefficient of friction. The rotation is clockwise. This is descending freely. So definitely it will rotate in clockwise direction. So therefore the friction force is going downward. So then this is the normal force. We transfer here. So this would be the free body diagram of the brake. Okay, before the load P is applied, there will be no contact with the brake. So the normal force and friction equals to 0. So let's consider first the 200-pound block. Summation of forces vertical is W over G times tangential acceleration. So what is the acceleration? That is the radius times alpha. Okay. Radius is 2. So 200 the weight minus tension, it's going down. So inertia force is going up. Or you just equate 200 minus tension is equals to, yes, but it's going up. So the same direction with tension. 200 over 32.2 times 2 alpha. Simplifying, solving for tension in terms of alpha, this would be the equation. For the pulley, we take summation of moment at the center. So that is the tension times the radius 2 is simply equal to the mass moment of inertia times alpha. Okay. So substituting tension in terms of alpha, then we can solve for alpha, that is 10.856 radians per second square. We substitute alpha to the tension equation. So you can solve for the tension, 65.14 pounds. Okay. After the load P of 100 is applied, so there will be normal force and friction force. So we start again for the 200-pound block. So the same equation, 200 minus T is W over G times 2 alpha. That is the acceleration. Or simplifying, you have this equation. Actually, it's the same. For the pulley, so we go back to the pulley. When we take summation of moment at the center, so it's the tension and the friction force. Of course, the normal force, it will be directed up to the center. So the moment at the center is 0. So only the tension and the friction force. Okay. So what is the friction summation? T times 2 minus force friction times 3 equals to 12 alpha. We substitute the tension and the force of friction. The force of friction is 0.2 times the normal reaction. Okay. Simplifying the equation, we have now equation of N in terms of alpha. Then consider the free body diagram of the brake lever. We take summation of moment at A. So let's go back to the free body diagram. So we take summation of moment here. So P clockwise, P times 4 minus N times 1. Okay. The equation for N is in terms of alpha. So summation of moment at N is P, bakit may 0? Dumikit lang. Summation of moment at A equals to 0. Then there should be space. It's 100 times 4 minus N times 1 equals to 0. Okay, so this is 400 minus N. So we just copy N because the moment arm is 1. Then equate to 0. From here, we can solve alpha. So, mas maliit na yung alpha. Kanina, without friction, without the brake, alpha is 10. Now, it's 4.34 radians per second square. Solving for the tension, we substitute alpha here. So, the tension becomes larger. That would be 146.06 pounds. Okay? So, that is the answer. Okay. I don't have time here. What is the time? Okay. So let's go to non-centroidal rotation, that is dynamic equilibrium. Okay, for the procedure, first apply the reverse normal effective force, W over G R omega square, also called the centrifugal inertia force, acting radially outward through the center of gravity, opposite to the direction of the normal acceleration. Apply the reverse tangential effective force, also called the tangential inertia force, acting through the center of gravity, opposite to the direction of tangential acceleration. So inertia force is always opposite to the direction of motion. Apply the inertia couple I alpha anywhere on the body, acting opposite to the sense of alpha. Okay. So just be patient. So only 4 problems. A man weighing 161 pounds is seated on a horizontal turntable. So this is the position of the man, 2 feet away from the vertical axis of rotation. The coefficient of friction between him and the turntable is 0.4. If the turntable starts from rest and accelerate at the rate of 1/2 radians per second square, how many seconds will elapse before he starts to slide? Determine the angle theta of the direction in which he will slide. Okay. So this is the position. It will rotate definitely at some point or at some value of acceleration or angular velocity. There is a tendency for the man to slide out from away from the axis of rotation. So summation of, this is the top view. Summation of the normal force acting is equals to W over G times RW. So that is normal to the motion, the rotation, is 0.4 the friction times the force, of course, is the 161 pounds, the weight of the man, is equals to W over G times RW square. Yeah. Okay, I forgot W. This is only W here. Okay. And then another W is W sub O plus alpha times T. Okay. Did I miss? Okay, this one. Sorry. This is the equation. The summation of normal force is equals to W over G RW. Then this is the equation. F is W over G times RW. When we substitute, okay, is it the equation is W squared? You check. This is only W and here is W squared. So that is typographical error. So solving for W, that is 2.53 or 538 radians per second square. It's in this direction. Okay. So the another equation, the final angular acceleration is the initial angular acceleration plus alpha times time. Okay. Given alpha, 1/2 radians per second square. Initial velocity is 0. So given the final angular velocity, we can solve for time. So the time is 5.08 seconds. Okay. And then solving for tangential acceleration, that is R alpha. So we just multiply 1/2 by 2, that is 1 foot per second square. The normal acceleration is ANRW square. This is, it's W. So dito yun may mali. This is normal force, so it should be RW square. So ito yung lagyan yun ng correction. It should be RW square. So tama dito. Okay? So substituting the given, so the normal acceleration is equal to 12.88 feet per second square. So another equation for theta, we solve for tangent theta, is the tangential acceleration divided by the normal acceleration. So that is 1 over 12.88. And solving for theta, that is 4.44 degrees. So ito lang gawan yung correction, it should be RW square. Okay? Because this is normal, so we use normal acceleration. Okay? So next. A uniform slender rod weighing 96.6 pounds is fastened to the rotating frame. This is the rotating frame, L shape. This is the rod, AB. Of course, there is a cord here that supports the rod. The frame rotates about its vertical axis at constant speed of 4 radians per second. So this is the rotation. Find the tension in the cord in the horizontal and vertical components of the hinge reaction. So to solve for this, we need the free body diagram of this rod. So this is the rod. So it would be the tension. It's rotating in this direction. So the inertia forces are, so the weight is 96.6 pounds. The inertia force will be away from the axis of rotation. That is W over G RW square. We substitute the weight, 96.6 over 32.2. The radius is, okay, RW squared. Well, it's 3.5, the dimension. Okay. Times 4, W square. Okay. So then, this is equal to 168. I think it's a typographical error, but it's already a figure. I cannot edit this one. So I have to edit it later. So but this one is correct. The inertia force is 168 pounds. Okay, so this would be the vertical and horizontal reaction on the hinge. So we take first summation of moment at A, 6 times the tension. This is distance. Okay, minus 168 times. So this is acting at the center of gravity. So 1/2 of the vertical distance. Okay, 1/2 of the vertical distance, 6. Okay, so this 3.5, so tama ito. Ang kinonsider natin is yung center. So this is 5. So this is 2. So ang natira dito, 3. Yung sa gitna, yung centroid, is 1.5. 1.5 plus 2, so that's why the radius of rotation is 3.5. Hindi yung buong 5 kasi point beyond. So dapat yung radius of rotation, we consider from the center, from the centroids of the body. So that's why it's 3.5. So this one is correct. Okay? So next, minus the weight, 96.6. So this, what is the distance? The horizontal distance is, okay, 3. So from center up to here is 1.5. So that would be equal to 0. So from that, we can solve for the tension, which is 108.15 pounds. And then taking summation of forces vertical, we can solve for RA vertical, which is equal to the weight, 96.6 pounds. And summation of forces horizontal equals to 0. So you have 168 minus 108.15 minus RA horizontal equals to 0. So the horizontal reaction at the hinge is 59.85 pounds. Okay. So determine the speed of rotation in revolutions per minute at which the chord in the previous problem 4.11 will have a tensile force of 200 pounds. So remember the pre-body diagram for the rod AB. We take summation of moment at A. So 6 times the tension, 200, minus the weight, the W over G. This is the inertia force. Okay. But this time, W or omega is unknown. Previously, it's 4. Okay. Minus the weight, 96.6 times 1.5 equals to 0. Simplifying the equation, so we have this 1,200 minus 31.5 omega square minus 144.9 equals to 0. Then we can solve for omega, which is 5.79 radians per second. The required is revolutions per minute. So simply N, radians per second, we multiply by 1 revolutions per 2 pi radians and 60 seconds per 1 minute. So the answer would be 55.27 revolutions per minute. So ang ginamit pa rin natin dito yung pre-body diagram of the previous. However, for the inertia force, omega is unknown. Previously, the inertia force is 168. But since omega is unknown, so we use the original given in the problem. Okay? So, alam nyo na yung 3.5 kung saan ang galing. Ha? Okay, I think last problem. So, the system shown in the figure consists of a circular disc welded to the end of a uniform bar. Okay? The assembly rotates in a vertical plane about the horizontal axis at A. So this is the axis of rotation that is rotating in vertical plane. At the given position, the angular velocity is 4 radians per second. Compute the magnitude of the bearing reaction. So this is the given, the weight, the diameter. So the weight of this and the weight of the rod and the length. Okay. So what is the required is the bearing reaction here. So let us draw the free body diagram. So the weight is 64.4 pounds. The inertia force, it's rotating in vertical position. So inertia force is downward, W over G R square. 64.4 over 32. The radius is, what is the equivalent horizontal distance here? From the center up to here, so you have to compute, that is equals to 2.4. Okay, so by ratio and proportion na lang, kasi ito 6. So the equivalent radius is 4, 3, that is 4, 3, 5. So computin ninyo ano yung equivalent horizontal distance for this given length. It's like 4 is to 5 as the radius is to 6 because the total length is 6. You check for the radius. So 4 square. And then for this one, the weight is 32.2. So the inertia force 32.2 over 32.2 times the radius. So that is the equivalent horizontal distance that is up to the center. So this is 6 plus the radius. Okay? The radius is 1. So it would be 7. What is the equivalent horizontal distance up to the axis of rotation? Or that is vertical, sorry. The radius is vertical because this is the horizontal axis is horizontal. Okay, so it's 5.6 times 4 square, so 89.6. So you know already the forces are all vertical. So this would be the vertical reaction at the hinge. Summation of forces vertical equals to 0. So add all the forces, the weight and the two inertia forces. And that is the vertical reaction at the hinge. For the horizontal, since there is no horizontal force, so RA horizontal is equal to 0. So the important is, you know the rotation, you know the forces acting on it. If you know the rotation, so you will, from the given position, you will know that the direction of the inertia force. It is always acting away from the center of rotation. It is rotating about horizontal axis, so in the vertical plane. On this position, definitely, the inertia forces are directed downward, away from this axis of rotation. Then, after you solve for the inertia forces, you can directly apply equilibrium equation. Okay? So, that's the end of discussion for, actually, that's the end of chapter 4. Okay. So, then the next topic for this is plane motion. So plane motion is simply a combination of rectilinear translation and rotation. So it's like we are